Mr. President, our elections are the very cornerstone of our liberty. When citizens cast their ballots, they must be confident that every vote is counted as a lawful vote cast by a U.S. citizen. Anything less undermines the faith in our system and demeans the sacrifice for those who fought for our democratic process. Recently, Macomb County Clerk Anthony Ferlini exposed a glaring failure in Michigan's election administration. In a review of the jury pools and state voter records, his office identified hundreds of non-citizens in the Secretary of State's driver license database, including 14 individuals who registered to vote, at least 3 to have appeared to have cast votes, and 1 individual who voted in multiple elections. This is not a theoretical problem. It's an alarming breach of safeguards that every state should have in place. Now you may ask, Joe, how did this happen? Well, under current practice, anyone applying for a driver's license or state ID is automatically registered to vote unless they decline. The only verification for citizenship is a single box that applicants check themselves. There's no systematic federal citizenship database check on the front end, and no meaningful verification tied to voter registration, and clearly no effective oversight by the Office of the Secretary of State, an office that is supposed to enforce and protect election integrity. And what does Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson say about this? She insists that these instances of non-citizens voting are rare, U of M, while opposing stronger common sense safeguards like document of proof of citizenship as part of voter registration. Or she even publicly pushed back against legislation proposed that would require such sort of verification, labeling them a chainsaw to our election system rather than responsible reform that they are. And I ask, Madam Benson, Madam Leader, you're taking the 35% on a poll on this. People that have voted, they want them to be verified. They want them to be citizens. This is not leadership. This is negligence. Your passive approach to election integrity have robbed Michigan families of the confidence in our elections. Your refusal to act decisively to close obvious loopholes have made our voter rolls vulnerable and potentially allow ineligible individuals to participate in shaping public policy. And that failure is unacceptable. Today I'm calling for real enforceable reforms to secure our elections. Mandatory document proof that citizens at the time of election. Integration of the federal verification database into our registration process. And regular and transparent audits of the voter rolls and penalties for any official who fails to protect the integrity of our elections. And the passage of the Americans for Citizens voting petition that is out there in the field right now. My favorite clerk story in Monroe County. A clerk and her staff work real hard. They get the dead people, they get a list of dead people, people they know have moved back to Ohio, people that haven't voted in 20 years. They send this list to the SOS. They get an email back. That's too many to take off. What is too many if they're not citizens? What is too many if they've died? We must hold our leaders accountable when a system like this fails. Secretary Benson will be asking Michigan voters for a promotion to governor soon, and I think not. Before that happens, she owes the state a full accounting of how these failures occurred and what was done to fix them, and why she opposes the very reform that could prevent this from happening in the first place. And I'll tell you why this is happening. Over 2 million voters in the last 4 years from California, Illinois, and New York have moved to red states. So we've got to bring these illegals in to make our congressional seats a lot bigger. That's why we're doing this. Our voters deserve secure elections, not excuses. Our citizens deserve confidence, not complacency. And our state deserves a leader who will act, not deflect, to ensure that in any lawful, eligible citizen, only lawful, eligible citizens will vote and determine the outcome of our elections. Thank you, Mr. President.